I would say we take a first look towards the game.
Yes.
Show the audience what does the game actually looks like. And for that, we have for sure players sitting not far from us away that will show you the game over the next 2 hours.
Yep. They're already in the game. And while they play, we're just gonna comment and tell you like a little bit more than the eye can see. Right now, they're in the base area, like the hub world, and there they can. That's where you start into the level, but it's also where you can chat with some NPCs and buy upgrades and do different things to enhance your runs that are that you, if you failed, you can most likely buy some sort of upgrade that'll make the next run easier.
Yeah. So you were talking about upgrades. We're coming to that definitely later. On first of all, when you start a game, you have to choose a character. What kind of character you want to play? If the players can shortly show us the character display, we can shortly go in there.
Yep, it's up there. Before you start each run, you can make the decision which character you want to play, and as in pretty much every game, the character influences how you play and what starting stats and weapons and abilities you go into the fray with. And in this case, we have right now chosen is the Love class, which uses a crossbow, has a lot of health but not as much shield, and has a special ability which fires an arrow that can charm enemies, and and normally tries to take advantage of this.
Okay, you're talking about like shield, health. These values are quite important for a run, and also the choice of weapon you're taking. What was your thought behind why putting a shield in, not only a health bar, for example? The shield is refreshing in the game when you take some damage. Health is not. Why differ there?
Actually, just to have more options to play around with. Like, you have the shield as a bit of a buffer to take some damage, which isn't gonna haunt you or get you later because it regenerates, which is actually something we're reworking as we speak, because I don't know if we'll see it, but going for shield is actually one of the, in our opinion, too strong options right now in the game.
I experienced this myself, that when I went for the runs in game, I always decided on, if it goes for armor, always decided for the shield instead of the health, because the amount of health you get in comparison to the shield always refreshing, and that
it's worth so much more.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
What is of the four characters? What is the character you personally like the most as a developer?
It's a bit of a difficult question, because I have to play the game a lot. So normally it depends on what I'm testing, but I usually prefer to take the most efficient character, and that means usually that I take the anger class, the rage ability it has. If you are a bit experienced in the game, it's very strong. If you play like this very reckless sort of style, you can just run into enemies, shoot them down, and then you're very fast in coming along. And if you grab certain upgrades, then it is, as of now, in this build for sure, but we're also doing some balancing there. It is the strongest class.
Okay. We are seeing down there the wheel with where you can choose from for your run. There are certain options you can take.
Yes.
One is you get gear scrapes. One is that you get armor upgrade or armor part in general.
Yep.
The other one is you have the choice of a new weapon. There we see later also more. And the fourth one is you can upgrade your weapon with skills. If you're going then for such a run, for example, what is your go-to for the first level? We see what our player will do soon, but what is your go-to?
Normally, I try to go for the add-ins, the upgrades to your weapon, which is one of our core mechanics that just changes the behavior of your bullets or your weapon in general, and they stack. So the more of them you have, the more insane your weapon potentially gets. So that's very often an option I like to choose, but also just depending on the class, going for a different weapon in the beginning. And if I'm struggling, I'll go for the armor for sure. There's also a health option, but I always feel like the run isn't going well if I have to choose health and skip something else. But sometimes you got to do it. We'll see how well our player's going to do.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see them doing the run and seeing also how well they master their obstacles in there, the opponents in there. I personally have one boss that we will see later for sure, where I'm always struggling a bit with. And
I think I know which one,
yeah, probably. And besides that, I was lucky enough to play the game already beforehand, before that stream, and I need to say it was a lot of fun. The first run I completely entered away. That was a bit frustrating, honestly. But then afterwards, I got kind of the grip, learned more how to do stuff, how to encounter enemies also, how to keep them on distance. And then I was able slowly but steady to go further and actually get also further in the levels and beat the bosses then one after the other. So
nice.
It looks like we're starting with the gameplay now.
Yep. You're starting, the first thing you do is always you choose which stage you go into first. In this version, we have 2 stages. There's more to come, but right now finished are 2 stages. And whichever you choose first, the other one's going to be the second one. And the second one has tougher enemies and better loot. But that's also part of the player choice, which he wants to have the harder version of and which he wants to do immediately.
Yeah. Now we see the wheel, what we talked about earlier.
Exactly.
Let's see what our player will choose. The 2 options for the first level is here the armor crate or the weapon
adding crate. Yeah, I mean, those are both good choices. With the map selection, you don't have to just make a decision in the moment, but you have to consider which options you have in the upcoming stage selection, which also are influenced by your actual choice.
Yeah. Right now we saw a big arrow flying that is a lot bigger than the usual ones.
Yep.
That is the special skill we talked about earlier that can charm enemies. And we're seeing some beautiful crits coming here actually in
the crossbow has the tasty crits with very high damage, especially in the beginning, but it's only 1 shot, so you gotta really hit the targets with that one. The arrow is also it's very big because it also does no damage, it just charms the enemies. It may do damage later, but we'll get to that. Now, when having a chest, every time you have 3 options to choose from. And he just chose the tripler, which is a weapon modification that gives your weapon a chance to fire 2 additional bullets when they hit the chance. We just saw them.
And we just saw that then instead of 1 bullet coming out, or 1 arrow in this case, 3 of them were coming at the same time. And while our player here tries to go through the level and defeats the opponents, the robots.
So,
Yeah, where are or do you have personally starting land or starting map you're normally starting or liking to start more?
not really. They both have their unique features. I think in general, right now, the stage he's decided to start in, the Pride Castle, is a bit easier than the other one. So it's a good place to start in Gear Up before you enter the second area, where there's a certain boss that you're better well prepared for. If you face him early on, he's a bit weaker, but usually
You're weaker too.
so are you, and that's why I try to go here first.
Yeah. On the map we saw right now also a big cannon in the middle, where it was connected with 4 towers. The player went around, destroyed the tower first, that the middle cannon gets deactivated. We saw right now already a few different opponents.
Yep.
What are the designing ideas behind? Or I put this question for later because we entered the first shop actually.
Oh yeah.
We see there the big shopkeeper, kind of gamble game next to it, and also a healing automat.
Yep. Those things are in each shop, and there's also some crates which we just saw him destroy, which means that the shopkeeper in this specific stage will not trade with him anymore because he's destroyed his inventory and he's kind of mad about it. So that won't work anymore. But at this moment, for the money he's got, he won't be able to buy anything really. So that's a valid strat. The healing is always useful if you need it. It's just a small heal, but it's also not that expensive, and you don't have to make a whole map selection based around it. Oh, now he's facing some trouble with this champion variant, which is something every enemy can become or can be, and they are stronger, like in healthier, they deal more damage, and they get access to the same add-ins that players use. So they can be very dangerous, and these big guys, they also have this reflecting shield, which just did a bit of damage to him.
Yeah, I encountered also in my runs a lot of them, and for me, one of the most annoying add-ins the opponent could have as a player is the freezing.
Yeah.
Because you're in this game, you try to run around to kite out, and here we're seeing the selection of the armor parts. There are 3 options. One with shield, one with health, certain resistances.
They have random properties they can have, and they each have one like additional small ability they give the player. And so that's also to be considered when choosing one of 3 equipment parts. In total, you can carry 5 different ones, and yep.
Yeah, we see here our player, if we look at the health bar and the shield is regenerating as we told earlier. The health is quite low, and we got to a level up. Should we explain what the different features are in the level up?
The level up, as we saw, the arrow is the ability, so that's what's getting leveled up. He has a choice of different modes that enhance the arrow in some ways. Like there's one that makes the arrow actually do damage. There's one where the arrow seeks out enemies, and with each level up you get one of these options, and that allows players to, even when choosing the same class, like twice in a row, they are gonna have different builds because there's different options to choose from, and like different directions in which to go in.
Yeah, we're now at the first boss. There are 4 options you can choose from answering the boss when he asks you.
Yep.
Really nice feature. Are there differences in the behavior of the boss depending on what you answer?
Yes. You get also, it's not especially great to read here. But all the bosses, they give you a choice of what you can say to them, and depending on the character of that boss, they will alter or change their behavior or attack patterns. At the moment, it's not really in a really huge way, like there being extra attacks or something like that. But they can use add-ins. That's something that can happen. They can be faster, deal more damage. All of that can happen, and you get also a little hint text after you've talked to them what is about to happen. And so the goal is to get to know these bosses and know which answer will lead to more danger, or which answers will make them a bit easier. And depending on how your run's going, you can say, oh, I'm doing so well, I'm going to take the harder version. I'm going to anger this boss, because if you choose the harder version, they also drop more loot in the end. So you also have this consideration of what do I want right now. And you can also just choose a passive answer and have the normal boss fight as well.
My personal favorite is just the okay, nothing more.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we saw that the boss got beaten.
Close call.
Yeah, 15 health left. And now you can choose again another add-in for your weapon.
Exactly. Each weapon has a certain number of slots where the add-ins can go into, but they all have at least 4 to 5, so plenty of experimentation can be done. And as we see now, there's also a machine in this room which is used to upgrade weapons. They have certain levels and rarities. Well, it's the same thing, and you can upgrade them, making them stronger. And you can upgrade every aspect. You can weapons, add-ins, or equipment. You can upgrade all of them, but you have a certain amount of money, so you gotta watch out which decision you make.
What to spend your money on?
Exactly.
As always, it's really
just like in real life.
question.
Yeah,
Yes.
you have to balance your account.
On the top left corner, we see 4 different symbols. One is the scrapes we're getting through our run.
Yeah, basically the money.
Yeah, the money. The other 3 are not used in the runs, as far as I know. They're only for later on.
Yep.
What are these 3, or when does what of it spawn?
Those 3 are the eternal currencies that are used for persistent progress in the base, which we talked about in the beginning, where you buy upgrades, and you're gonna need these 3 items, and they drop at different points in the game. The first one is emotion vials. They drop when you finish a boss fight, and depending on how hard it was, more of them drop. And the other one is construction core, which is also dropped by boss, but just 1 per boss, so it's a little less. You can find it in chests that have money in them, like the gear scrap. And the third one are champion fragments, which is in relation to the champion variants of enemies. So whenever you face a champion variant of an enemy and you kill him, you have a chance to obtain one of those.
Okay. So we are at the next chest. For sure, there will be next put the next armor part to the armor of the player.
Yep.
And the question is what to choose here. In this case, a mix out of armor and health got chosen, if I saw it right. And our player has now 19 armor already, compared to the start with 5 armor.
I think he started with a little bit more, with 9 or something like that.
Or 9, yeah, I think 9 it was from the upgrades. And yeah, you see he has 35 health. That is not that much, but with higher armor, that is also regenerating over the run. he has definitely options.
Yeah,
to
now
still
he just
pull it off.
healed as well.
Yeah.
But if you have enough shield or, well, don't get hit, you don't need to worry as much about the health.
Honest, how often do you gamble in these shops?
At least once per shot. You gotta roll one dice. But if I have the money, if I have like above 200 scrap, well, each roll costs 25. So
Yeah.
I gamble until I'm around 100 or something like that, because it can work.
Yeah, once I gambled that much that the whole automat got destroyed.
Yeah, that can happen as well. It can also try and attack you, but yeah, if you stay on your toes, it can be very fruitful to gamble.
Yeah, it was fun, definitely. At least when you're winning.
Yeah.
But
Otherwise,
yeah, we're not
it's a waste of
advertising
time.
gambling here in the stream.
Only in game.
Only in game.
Only with
Only
gear
with
scrap.
gear scraps. Yes. Now we saw that our character leveled up again.
Yep,
So,
but it was mid-combat, so you'll have to wait until all enemies are dead, and then you can choose his next upgrade. Making very good use of the ability to charm enemies.
the bombing enemies that fly up are always, for me, kind of really annoying, because it takes so long till you actually can hit them, because
Yep.
they're always in the air.
But if you're reloading at that exact moment, you have to wait again. Yeah, there's an actual, like, for our enemies, we work with archetypes. So each stage has the same archetypes in like a different form, but they fulfill the same role. And this archetype is the stressor, so he's supposed to get on your nerves, be kind of annoying, and he does that job
Quite
almost
well.
too well. Yeah,
Quite well. Yeah, especially if there are a lot of them, and we see right now also our players quite cornered here with all the...
dangerous situation.
But the dash is really strong, I have the feeling, and you can always get out of such really dangerous situations. He is using kind of a single target weapon here in this case, but is especially with the rooms getting fuller and fuller, and opponents getting more annoying, quite hurtful for him also.
Yeah, so, no AoE yet. That is suboptimal against so many enemies.
Yeah, here you see the minimap a bit bigger. The rooms with the rooms that are empty till now, well, the person was not in, the player was not in, and also there might be other rooms hiding behind. So
exactly, you only see the rooms you've explored, and if you enter a room, you only get shown the adjacent rooms, like that have a direct door leading to that room. So you never really know if there's like a small room with a little bit of cash in there.
Yeah, the question mark is really a question mark where you might go afterwards. Or if there's actually the whole dungeon behind and you just think it's a small room and maybe don't need to go there. No, you really need to go there, because there might be a lot more than you think.
Well, if you found already everything you wanted to find, on each floor there's one chest if you've chosen one. And if you found that, you can also just say, okay, I've seen enough, I want to go on to the next level.
Want to get out of here.
But you get experience and potentially money, so there's always reasons to stick around. Or you have a really strong build and just want to destroy some enemies. That's also very legitimate reason.
If you look here, we have 2 healths left, so basically...
He almost died just now, that was really close.
So if the shield is down and he gets any more damage, it might be catastrophic for his run.
That might be it, yeah.
So,
but the movement is good. The dodges are super important, as you said. Just the invincibility they offer is very important.
Yeah. So in this case, you talked about it's only the version if you kind of enter the run that you go for healing normally. In such a case, if you choose the heal on the wheel, healing you fully.
It's complete heal, so he probably should choose it if he can. Or I don't know if he gets more shield, or he could also gamble.
Yeah, gambling maybe is.
So there's always options, and yeah, going into more rooms
Might be deadly.
is also a dangerous move, but
Yeah,
it's experience and money potentially, so
yeah.
it can pay off. It's always risk and reward.
Yeah, we might also later see other rooms that are especially going on this procedure with risk and reward.
Yep.
Where we come later towards when we see them. A small spoiler, and to make you also more interested in what will happen. Yeah, we see if he will also be able to survive the next boss fight with the low health he's having, or
Yep.
maybe the run is ending there already. What gives us especially also the chance to see other characters on runs and how they actually behave in-game.
Exactly.
He's dodging here quite well, keeping his shield up and clearing the room.
He's tenacious, for sure. The boss fight is also a long... It's going to be a long test of endurance.
Yeah. What I actually really like in the game, what is often the most annoying part if you go through games, is if you empty the room already and you're walking still the same speed as you always do.
Yeah,
and or you have still the one dash only, and then it's done. But yeah, it is extremely cool made that after you beat everything, you can dash as much as you want.
Yeah, that's great to hear. That was actually a decision I made. I said because for this exact reasons, if you are on the opposite side of the map and you want to run over, it just takes a while, and especially in a fast-paced game, that's just no reason for it, I think. And so I asked our programmers if it was possible to be able to dash continuously while not in a fight, and they said sure. And that's how we ended up here.
Yeah. To this boss, basically, we see it is three-headed. Every one of these heads has a unique ability that can make your life as hard as possible. One is summoning minions, as far as I know, and the other one has a healing property, and the other one is doing damage, or if I'm correct.
Almost. It's 3 enemies that exist in the game put together, and one summons enemies, one heals enemies or itself even, and the other one buffs enemies. So he gives add-in properties to other enemies, and they're gonna start like using kind of like a mini champion. They're gonna start using the same add-ins against you.
Yeah. As we saw now, our player beautifully made it through this boss by staying alive with his really low health bar. And we're seeing the next add-in that is possible here. Acid is chosen, and we see the next possible reward. He will go again with armor to stay alive, I would say.
Yeah, it's not a bad choice.
And upgrading it also directly.
Upgrading armor, yeah, that's all the cash he's gonna be able to spend on that.
And
but now he
gets more.
13, so oh yeah, there's some money waiting. But not a lot. And now he's in the final area of the stage, which means the waves are gonna be huge and the enemies are gonna be extra mean.
Yeah,
like the strongest enemies that are gonna appear.
And they had more often, I had the feeling, this add-ins.
Yeah, there's more champions as well. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we see here the room, even when it's small, a lot of enemies in there, a lot of spells and attacks flying towards him, but till now he really kites it out well. Has 13 health now and 19 shield, so a bit more than before the boss fight.
Yep. He's slowly recovering.
Yes.
And now he gets a level 2 equipment. That's really strong in the middle there. That's 7 shield, 12 health.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he wants to see.
Yeah, that's exactly what he wants. Low health, get some extra health, a shield. I also like the one on the left, cause of the extra movement speed, but cause you have to dash, it kind of is not 100% necessary, but it's still a nice to have feature.
Yeah.
Now explain me to this room. This room I run a lot, Yupon, and yeah. The first time I had a beautiful run and it ended exactly there.
Oh no. Well, it's a quest you can do. This NPC is not hostile, as we see, is not attacking, but he has a problem, and that is his wealth that is displayed in this room. He wants to leave and take it with him, but whenever he does or tries to, enemies show up, and since he doesn't even have a weapon, he's kindly asking the player to take care of them for him. And there's 3 chests in total, so this quest cannot be done like in one run. You have to come there 3 times. You have to manage to get there and defeat the waves, and then you unlock him, and he appears on the starting area and offers upgrades that are to do with money in all sorts of ways.
Yeah, that often I actually didn't help him out till now. I tried to help him twice, I need to say. Once was my run ended then, and the second time I made it like our player is making it here right now, and got some reward from him. That was, after dying last time, for me a bit like, oh, I hoped for more. That a creed came a bit out. I beat all them for you.
You don't get rich by giving money away, and that's what he thinks as well. There you get a little bit of cash and a construction core, but yeah, that's all you're getting. He's a greedy little fella.
Yeah, definitely. Now we see the next upgrade was trying to go with. Again,
it's going for armor. Yep.
Yeah, armor is definitely the way to go. See here, but with the low amount of gear scraps, yeah, they won't happen more.
Whoops.
Oh yeah, the suicide spiders, quite hurtful if they hit you, but they shouldn't hit you.
They really shouldn't. At a certain point, if you know how they behave, they shouldn't hit you, but then it hurts all the more if they actually do hit you, because they hit kind of hard. If you have 30 shield, which is already pretty comfortable,
especially for the hero he's playing.
Yeah, because he has super fast shield regeneration, because he starts with very low shield. So yeah, he's actually doing very well now. If he's careful and doesn't shoot at these enemies, especially when they have the shield up, then
yeah, they have a they can reflect.
They can, and they love to do it. And especially with his shots, which are single shot, high damage, if those get redirected in your face, yup, that hurts.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised that he didn't pick up a second weapon till now, that he didn't choose it. I personally really loved it to have 2 kind of weapons, one for multi-clear, one for single target damage. We see maybe...
It's gone for the add-in.
Also for the add-in again. So, yeah, who needs more weapons if you have one that one-shots everybody?
It is a valid strategy, and something we've kind of been looking into, how to make players interested in using multiple weapons. Some, like you, they naturally do, but others, and that's something that happens to me a lot. If I put all the add-ins and pick the add-ins specifically for a certain weapon, I'm not as likely to switch it mid-game. If I have a lot of cash and there's a good one in the shop, you never know.
Yeah. Maybe we have the chance from the players that we can see after the fight, or until a later point in time, the menu where you see your weapons and also all the add-in crates you're having already.
Yep.
Then we can kind of explain certain stuff and also how you see your stats in general displayed.
That's right.
But first we're having a level up here. The level up
4, yeah. As you can see, there's certain equipments you've chosen before where you can choose the next level, making them stronger, or go with an entirely new option. And yeah, the menu is especially important if you want to switch around your add-ins, because as I said, they have a certain capacity, each weapon, for add-ins, and if that capacity is met, they get put into your inventory, but you're always free to switch around which ones you use on your weapon and which one goes into which weapon.
Yeah, also a rookie mistake I made. I played it, was like, yeah, cool, next add-in, next add-in, next add-in.
Then you were full.
Then I was full and was like, something behaves weird. It's not behaving like all the add-ins I'm having. And then I realized, okay, there are actually add-ins that I can't use anymore because it has only a certain amount I can use per weapon. And then I started happily to use them for my second weapon then. But yeah, that's definitely also a benefit if you use multiple weapons. That you can, that you can also decide what add-in crate you actually want to use for which weapon, and therefore then also decide, okay, for example, now if you have an extreme good multi-clear, it's really helpful with good in crates. That's definitely a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. And it's also like certain weapons make better use of certain add-ins. So there's some combinations which just work a little better than others.
Yeah, like I had once a really cool combination where I had kind of the boomerang add-in that came back together with the shotgun weapon. And I was running around through the room and just spammed my ability against those opponents, and it came back again. And yeah, now we're seeing the menu here, and there we see on the underneath the weapon the add-ins that are already there.
Exactly.
You can also recycle add-ins. That means
you can get money for them if you don't need them anymore, or if you really need money. And as we see, slots are full right now. It's okay because he doesn't need more, but if he gets an additional add-in, he's gonna have to make a choice or look into upgrading his weapon, which will also gradually increase the number of slots. But like he's gonna need to upgrade 2 times or 3 times for that to happen, because it's very strong, obviously.
Yeah, also we saw the armor you're wearing currently, and
that's where the money went.
Yeah, that's where the money went. So yeah, we see there on the minimap there are certain rooms still left for this to reach the boss fight of this certain area, and also the last boss in this certain area. The levels, as far as they are there till now, are all designed with 3 bosses. Any future plans on making more bosses in one level, kind of?
Probably not. The thing with facing a boss every second stage is something we're probably gonna stick with, especially since making bosses is a huge task. Making bosses that are fun and function. Let's say there's another boss fight for this stage, which is currently not used because it's there's certain things that need to be adjusted. But something we wanted to do is have a secret boss or something like mini bosses that can appear no matter what stage you're in. There's always going to be like this little extra challenge.
Yeah, like I'm really excited, or I really enjoy the differences of the bosses. We have till now a big variety of bosses that are themselves strong. They're quite healthy, quite beefy, but not really mobile. So you can run around them, you can hit them, you can beat them with that. And then you have on the other side other bosses. There you are really getting to a certain edge of dodging all the skills, all the abilities flying at you at the same time, and you just hope, okay, please let the fight be ended.
Yeah, that's something we also. I mean, I think everybody who makes games wants to have boss fights that have variety and aren't always the same thing of, oh yeah, hit this big guy and then you're done. But having to learn them, to adjust to what they can do, is something we, especially in the second area, looked into. And yeah, the final boss of this stage is also a bit of a different fight from the ones that came before. Of course, I mean, he's going to be the most difficult out of the fights up until now. But yeah, if he doesn't die in this room, which might happen, we're going to see. Then I can elaborate, because we see two champions here, one with freezing ammunition, the one with explosive.
There we have the freezing again.
Yep.
Yeah, let's see how well he goes through, but the shield is regenerating quite well, it looks like, and he made it.
Well, he took a decent chunk of damage there, but still kicking.
Yeah, so maybe if he gets some more gear scrapes, 11 more, he has there the possibility to heal at least once, but no.
I think he already did, and now it's too late.
Now it's definitely too late. We see also now when we go back to the fight, like first again the 4 options to choose from. How you liked your robot to be.
Yeah, well, in the beginning you don't know. You don't really know the character and how they're going to react to certain emotions you show them. So it's a bit of a shot in the dark, but you learn.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's a game you need to learn how the game actually works behind to get further. With every run, you get further and further, not only through upgrades, but because you learn a lot about the game. Now we're having here the final boss fight with this big fat sword trying to hurt you, and this is a really, really dangerous skill of him. It's a gravity field that pulls you through him, and we see that there is a lot coming from the sky down, raining on us. Explosives after explosives, and especially together with the gravity field, it's extremely hard to dodge. And if your dashes are out, there we see 3 small points underneath our character. It means that you have 3 dashes. If the point is away, the dash is used and needs some time.
Gotta wait. Yeah.
And with the gravity field and you're out of dashes, then it's extremely hard to actually dodge. There are also the skills what can be deadly.
That is right. But he's doing well.
Extremely well.
Boss is down.
Boss is down. Is he?
Unfortunately for him, he has a second phase.
Yeah, that's the small twist added here, and he attacks directly quite strong. Getting hit by the boss isn't something you really want. It hurts like hell, especially in close combat. If he really hits you, this hurts.
Yep.
See,
and he gets a little faster as well once he's entered his rage mode. But those dodges are clean.
Really clean played here. There we see also our player is definitely not playing the game for the first time.
That's right.
He is quite proficient and took quite a lot of hours already in the game. Without telling too much, it's definitely a not 3 but a 2-digit number he took in the game to learn to play it. It's a game you really need to learn step by step when to use your dashes, how opponents work, especially the bosses, and also what upgrades are actually the good ones.
Yeah.
And now we see he made it.
Nice work, yeah. There's no third phase. He's done it. It's actually like one of the options we were thinking about for the boss dialogue. We want to have maybe some options where there's actually like this huge difference in behavior, and like a third phase, that would be this sort of thing that we were thinking about. But like for this one Easter egg, would be a lot of work to go there. But maybe.
Thing we didn't see now, as far as I know, in the walkthrough, but it's also in this world, is the side quest that is implemented.
Yeah, well, we saw the little guy with the chests. That was one of the available side quests.
Yeah, but there's also normally one other for the watering can.
Oh yeah. He already cleared some of these in this state, I think. Exactly. There's multiple side missions, and there's also easier ones, which are supposed to where the player is supposed to get them done earlier and easier and gain access to certain variety of upgrades. Yeah.
The movement here is really clean. He's definitely warmed up now, and we see the second map. There are certain specifications of this map that are quite different than the other one, but I would also think or judge it as a harder map in comparison. One of them are the explosives there are actually giving acid to the ground, to the floor, and if you walk in, you take quite some chunk of damage.
Yeah, you start to burn, and that can hurt. Yeah, it's like this is the second one we did. The other one we did first, and I think we got a little meaner with time. So in this one, there's the traps are a bit more punishing, and some of the enemies and bosses are as well. There's going to be a little bit of balancing to amend that and make them all more or less the same difficulty. But as of now, it hosts some, like especially we'll see if it gets there, but the second boss.
Yeah, the second boss is definitely quite some. We don't talk too much about it.
We'll see. I think he'll get there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he will. I'm quite excited about new worlds, new levels, cause that's the thing. If you say getting meaner, it's also for the player kind of this feeling of this itchiness of I need to beat it. Even if you fail, you want to do it again, till you reach actually the point that you've done it. It's a great feeling to reach there, and I think this game is actually something that brings out this feeling of you're not doing it in the first run, you're not doing it on the second run. You need really there to go with the game, and I personally really like it in games when they have at least certain difficulty. They're the games you play for fun, for not thinking, just brain off and enjoying. And this is the game you enjoy a lot while also having this kind of competitiveness in the game inbuilt without going online in a big multiplayer game. But in general, we have a multiplayer also in the game integrated.
It's not competitive, it's co-op in this case. So up to 4 players are going to be able to join together and try and make it through the levels. We're going to actually try a 2-player game later on and showcase that. But as you said, I mean, it's like the good part of this genre of roguelike games is that you can, the more you play them, the more you understand, the further you come, the more you experience and discover. But I think what a good roguelike, or rather a good roguelite, with this tiny difference can do is that it doesn't leave you empty-handed. If you've done a run that went on like for half an hour, but you died, and the game's just like, yep, everything you've gotten out of this is knowledge that isn't quantifiable.
Yeah.
Then I really appreciate if some games are like, oh, you've unlocked something new, you can try it on the next run, or the game has gotten marginally easier if you choose to do it.
Yeah.
Things like that are what I think makes this gap from basically wanting the player to die in the beginning and not get there in the first try, that make those things bearable.
Yeah, not making it too easy, but actually giving us still the option in case you're struggling a lot. You can get certain, I call it upgrades, then later on that make it easier for you to actually have.
Yeah, but
here we see now the recycling of such an add-in crate.
I decided against it. Can't recycle armor. That goes into another trash bin. But he full on went for equipment. He has all the slots filled.
Yeah, he's one tanky boy now.
That is almost an understatement. But he's gonna need it.
Yeah,
and boss fights to come.
I'm really excited to see how he will do in the second boss fight.
Yeah, me too.
Now it's the first one of the second world.
Yep.
The first ones are normally the, I would say, the bit easier ones. Here we see with the movement he can hide quite well around him. Always tries to stay on the side or behind him to not get hit by his attacks that are mainly front end attacks.
Yeah, this boss is also blind, so he only knows at certain points where he is. But he does, and he's rather slow, but he does have a rage mode, which makes his attacks a little more dangerous. But I don't think he's going to be able to do much damage against him here.
Especially when you have some experience in the game, I think that's an opponent you can hide out quite well. And getting here again the permanent possibilities for upgrades later on with the collections from the boss. And he goes here again with the next. He took the add-in crate, no?
No, you always get an add-in chest after the boss fight. I think. I don't know what he chose there, but he recycled it, and now he wants to buy something. Oh, he goes for the combustion.
Oh, he wants to deal even more damage with his one bow. Now he puts it in, and now I think we go for the recycling. I think he just pressed the wrong button.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that was actually the plan before recycling it, having enough money to buy the upgrade, the add-in crate, the new one. Wasn't enough. Now he's going for the after the boss fight, upgraded it, and is now going to the next stage again.
Yep. Which like what he just did was also an informed decision, because he spotted the add-in. It was a high-level add-in, yes, but the combustion add-in burns enemies, and the burn damage is tied to your weapon damage. And since he does
extreme damage,
high damage with his weapon, the burns are gonna be severe, which makes this a very good choice.
So it's a really good choice, especially if you go with single target damage.
Exactly.
Here the next chest, he took armor again. Question is if he changed it.
Well, he has all the slots full, so that's not something I would have done. Yeah, he recycled it.
Yeah, maximum the middle part, but the amount he would get from it compared to the recycling.
Not really worth it, yeah.
Now he sees if he can with...
now he upgrades the weapon for the first time.
Ooh. Let's
increasing all the stats.
Yeah. Let's see how he actually, how the damage evolves. We see beautiful crits here with 182. That's quite a lot of damage.
Yeah.
If I think about if you go, for example, with the shotgun, there you have then like your 12, 13 damage takes with each shot, sure, but at the end it adds up like 50, and here he goes with this 100, nearly 190 crits. That's quite heavy.
Yep, that's pretty strong. But he does have to hit those, and yeah, he also chose an add-in which is helping him do more and stronger crits as well, which is a natural fit for this weapon.
So he spotted the room where it goes to the next stage.
Yep.
He's also taking it.
Now he enters the next stage where there's going to be a boss.
And he goes with the gear scrapes. So really he wants to have a lot of the gear scrapes, and with that actually getting the upgrades he wants, to not be dependent on random upgrades.
Yeah, he wants to have all the options, like what to upgrade and what to buy in the shop as well, apparently. I mean, he probably would have chosen armor, but he already has
Full
5
armor.
parts, so...
Yeah. With 37 of armor in general and 164 health, I think that's anyway something you would not invest overly right now in. He sees that, especially for the next boss, that he has the damage to kill him as fast as possible.
Yeah, that's his next concern. I mean, depending on how much he gets hit by the boss, armor is never a bad choice, but yeah.
Yeah, armor is never a bad choice, yes, but if you have are fully equipped already on armor,
then
there is a peak amount you can have through the armor crates you're getting, and then it goes, as far as I know, at least over upgrades.
Yeah, I would agree.
See where he's going. He found the chest again.
On the cash money.
A lot of it. Oh, he has 216. That's definitely enough to go. He's for a minor upgrade again. Here he attacked. Wasn't that already an attack on the...
He just destroyed one barrel. Like, the shopkeeper has a certain tolerance. Gives you a little warning, but in this case, this is also something we currently working on, that the shopkeeper engages more and warns you about him deciding not to sell you anything anymore because you destroyed his wares.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be a whole punishment system depending on what you do and how much of his stuff you actually destroy.
Is there then, for example, also in planning that when you bought already from him and then afterwards take his stuff, that he might attack you?
He is not really the kind of guy to attack people, but he can hold a grudge. So if you destroy stuff either before or after you bought something, there's going to be the option that he's just not going to show up in the next spot where he's supposed to show up. Normally every second floor there's going to be a shopkeeper, but maybe not. Maybe he doesn't feel like it today.
And we're reaching the second boss. I'm quite excited, I need to say. That's probably the boss that killed me personally the most.
Understandable. I really like this boss because he, like, the whole arena is based around this boss fight, which is something I thought was a very cool idea to implement. And he has 3 heads. One is a giant saw that creates these lava puddles. Mm-hmm. One is a huge laser that tracks him as we speak. And the other one is a giant hammer which bangs on the area and causes explosions. There we see it.
And we see explosions everywhere. You need to dash away from the laser that is kindly following you and telling you...
Just slowly
yeah?
creeping up. But once it sees you, it goes into damage mode, and then it also becomes a lot faster. But he's doing real well. The thing about this boss, to damage him, you have to hit this ball that's rolling around. That's the only way to damage him.
Yeah, but he's doing quite well damage.
But the damage
also, the health
output
is still fine.
real.
So I'm quite sure he will make it. But yeah, it's flying a lot at you at this stage. You see the acid on the ground, you see the laser coming for you, turning cycles here, explosions everywhere. If you really for 1 second not taking or putting attention onto what is flying towards you, then it can happen that you lose. Easily,
yeah, it happens very
a lot
fast.
of health.
Very, very fast, yeah.
And he beat him. That's quite impressive, I need to say. And we
at this point, the damage output is very strong, but he gets carried by the shield.
Yeah, I think so too. Without the shield, he wouldn't probably be here already.
I think that's also an informed choice, because the class he chose, once he has enough shield, it just comes back so fast. That is actually a bit of an oversight. I wanted to like make this class a little better, balancing wise, but I sort of forgot about this being a little too much if you manage to get so much more armor in the process, so much more shield. So that's on me, but I don't think it's too much of a problem. I mean, there was a couple of times where he was at 2 HP and almost dead, so he played well. He earned all the armor he got.
Yeah. I would definitely say we'll show the run right now till we reach the second end boss, and we go through it for the next. You should reach it shortly. Beat the second one, and then afterwards we also go still onto the multiplayer to actually show how it behaves if we play the game with more than one person. And also I would really like to shortly introduce ourselves, hosting the stream today, luckily in the cooperation.
Of course.
And yeah, so, but first we go back to the stream here. We see a really fabric kind of mining setup, I would say.
Yeah, it's like every stage is modeled after an emotion and like some sort of environment that fits that emotion. We're in the anger stage, and this is a factory that's built into a active volcano, and we want to to kind of give the player the feeling of this being a very rage-induced area where even among themselves the other mechs are fighting and are just like always
poor working
about to
conditions there.
explode. Yeah.
Yeah, we have here the shopkeeper again, but I don't think the amount of money he has is that much right now. So yeah, maybe he could gamble, but he is not the kind of gamble player.
No, he seems very, very strong in his decisions where to put his money, which is also probably like statistically the better way to go about it. But you will never feel that high of putting 25 scrap in and getting like this huge armor or weapon from it. Not that he needs it. At this point,
it doesn't look like. He clears the rooms like it is nothing right now. Great gameplay here, definitely, what he's showing us. But also for the people that are freshly coming to our stream, the player playing right now is not playing the game for the first time. If you play it for the first time, it's definitely something that is extremely hard to play, but also a lot of fun to master.
Yeah, and at a certain point, like the way the game's right now, if you've reached a certain point, you're probably strong enough to go all the way. Like with him, once you go into the anger stage as the second stage and beat the second boss, I don't think anything else or even the final boss will stop you. But
at least not till now. I think there's definitely something coming up to make it even more difficult to get the players to a point where they need to think even with all the add-in crates. Am I able to do it?
Yes, exactly. There's also a lot of well, this is our most recent build, but as with pretty much everything, there's many learnings we've made, especially concerning gameplay and balancing. And there are some things that are going to be tweaked to make the final areas not as trivial as they can be. They're not necessarily, like, he still gets hit, but yeah, that's also something we're currently looking at.
Yeah, I am generally really excited, like, to see the new worlds that will come up. What is the actual state right now of the game? You're talking about this is still in development. We have the demo that is playable on Steam. So guys, please download the game. You will enjoy it a lot. I can just only recommend it.
Yeah, it's free. I mean, can't hurt to give it the old try. And yeah, this is actually this build is from a couple of months ago even. There's many more systems we implemented. There's I think something about 20 more add-ins we've put in the game since then. There's also we're working on the next stage, which isn't finished, but it's in the works, and it's definitely going to be finished for the early access release. So we're going to release with 3 areas available.
Is there a small spoiler in which direction a certain stage is actually going?
Well, in this game there's like 8 main emotions. If you the player classes are based on those, and the answers you give bosses. And if you've seen all the emotions that can be given or are in the game, it's gonna be one of those, and you can already rule out pride and anger. So it's a 1 in 6 chance to guess it right, which the next one's gonna be. But it's the more we work on the game, the further we get into development, and as our team grows, we get more ambitious. So the next stage is like design-wise and everything, it's gonna be a lot more ambitious than the previous ones.
Yeah, but being ambitious is definitely paying off. And if we look at this fight, for example, a beautiful huge dragon here attacking us. Beautiful if you're watching like we do. If you're the player, need to kite out his fire press and all his attacks. Maybe not.
Yeah, this boss has also received a huge upgrade. Like he's a lot stronger now than he is in this version, because we thought he's the final boss. He can't be easier than the second boss. But yeah, you took a lot of damage there, because this dragon can also reflect certain attacks, and as we just saw, he took some of those.
Yeah, and the damage and all the spells flying at you, it's quite impressive. Like, I think if you're not well geared up to this point or are low on health before the fight, it's definitely nothing that is easy to beat, especially not after the upgrade we're talking about. Releasing early access, you talked about. When can we kind of count on, or what to kind of think of might be an early access timing? Not the actual date, but around which time?
Well, yeah, we have a month. It's going to be in February. We're going to go with the early access, and as always, we always inform everybody who follows the game, has it wishlisted. We're gonna let you know. It's going to be February, where you're going to be able to buy and play the early access version.
Okay. We reached the point where we will stop this run for now, and therefore changing and also the topic. What we will definitely still do is going through the overworld, where we kind of see where you can get upgrades then in. we shortly present a bit of us and go to the multiplayer player then.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we go in a short break, as far as I heard, or we go. So while David is making a short break right now, we would shortly present something about us. We have Freiburg eSports. We are the local esports club from Freiburg here, as the name kind of suggests. We are currently 5 years old, like quite young, but also not that young anymore. And for us, we are trying to get everybody that has the same interests in us together, playing a different kind of esports games.
Mainly the competitive ones.
Mainly the competitive ones.
We like the opportunities to get from local like Sticky Stones to present their games. It was a wonderful experience. You saw my gameplay as they talked over it. It's a quite beautiful game. We're heavily into it to get their chance to help them, like with bug reports in the early beta, or to present their game. We're for community.
Yeah.
It's normal.
Yeah, for the community. For us, we are not esports oriented. We are not the team, the club that has one professional team. We are not supposed to be a club with professional players. We're all doing this in our free time, and we're really enjoying what we're doing. The club is growing. We're currently going towards our 150 member, and also it's a community. It's for everybody that has an interest in playing games together. It can be competitive, like in League of Legends, we're quite big, or also in other Smash is what you really love to play. Pokemon, where we sent also a competitor to the recent international tournaments. So we are there if you're interested and have fun in playing on a community level, but also if you want to play it professional. We are always there for you, and we are happy to have everybody that has the same interests with us in our club. We're currently streaming from our clubhouse here in Freiburg, what is extremely beautiful, and we're happy to have it.
Everything you see is mainly from our members for us, and we for our members. It's quite lovely to be here, like for almost a year now. No, over a year now.
We are over the year now here in the clubhouse, and we actually made already really beautiful events that goes from normal trainings for the games to fun events, days where everybody can join us and play with us together. Community days. We make tournaments here in our own rooms, and yeah, this is all something you can have if you join, or if you want to be a part of, or just interested. I would definitely say go to our Twitch. Either there is the QR code, you can just scan it and go there. Go on our homepage if you're interested. If you're maybe even from the region, we are even more happy when you want to join us or say hello at the next day of where they can come by.
Join on Discord.
Or join us on Discord, and we're always happy to have people there.
But
and
not only us, join M.O.O.D.S as well.
Yes, that is definitely a quite important point. M.O.O.D.S is the main focus here. So if you want to play M.O.O.D.S, maybe also before the release officially is there, come to us. And I think we switch now to the multiplayer then again. And thank you that you were there. It was a beautiful run you showed us there with a lot of stuff that went really well, but it was also close at certain.
There was one point I think I was at 2 HP.
Yes, it was extremely close, like one hit more, and
I was dead. Yeah, but the beauty of this game is you can get some health even if you're not supposed to get some health.
Yeah, so we switch back. In this case, I put you back on playing, and
yes,
at this moment, we welcome David back for the multiplayer. So,
Alrighty. Let's see here.
So we're in the overworld again. Now after a run, we got some possibilities for upgrades. So let's see where the player can go for spending this things. But we first integrate the second player, it looks like. And then afterwards we go to shortly see the other characters, as far as I heard.
Exactly. If you come in with a new character, you always have to choose one character to have, obviously. We're going to use that to talk a little bit more about the other options. So let's see.
Connecting right now the device. Yeah, in the meantime, we see already here next to our character right now a tall woman kind of robot standing there. What you can do there? What was kind of the thought also from the kind of bots that are there in the overworld for you? What are the ideas behind?
She's the leader of the basically the operation the player gets sent upon. She's in some ways responsible for the downfall of the society that was once thriving, but with the help of something she, among others, discovered, got destroyed. And now she sends the player to hopefully, not really bring peace, but first destroy everything and then rebuild. That's pretty much the plan. And she has built the player as well, and therefore can build other things on this base. But she does need the resources, and she's not capable of combat. So she sends the player, which comes back with the resources she needs. So she's the first character that you meet. Well, now, if you do the tutorial, maybe the second. But she gives you like your main goal, what you have to do, and also unlocks modules that can appear during a run. Okay, if we're talking to her later, maybe she offers something that's called a challenge room. Or a gambit generator, I think.
Yeah, I saw this already, where you can pick also your difficulty and the upgrades you might get from it.
That's like a special room that can appear, and once you're in it, you have the choice to have a challenge to face a very strong opponent. And if you do manage to beat him, or you get the reward you saw before. So it's an informed decision, but you still don't know exactly which opponent's going to show up and how strong he's going to be. And that is like the challenge you have to face there.
Yeah.
Which can also end in you taking a lot of hits or maybe regretting that particular decision.
Okay, and there's also another bot where you can get upgrades from that are then kind of a bit more specific on the weapons or armor.
Yeah, there's like we divvied those certain areas of expertise up among the NPCs. There's one that's specialized in equipment and weapons. There's one that is specialized on enhancing the mech and his health, his shield, or even movement speed and how much experience is needed. And there's one for money, which we met earlier. And there's gonna be some others, which players will see in the full game. Not much sense in spoiling too much in this case. And yeah, so it's always up to the player to decide which way do I want to upgrade and do I want to invest.
Also, as we saw earlier, the player dropped really low. We're now in the shortly started and go now to the where you can choose your robot.
Yeah, that's the character selection screen, We have each class is tied to a certain emotion. That's the angry berserker, which has his own unique ability of being able to fire nonstop and not having to reload for a while. The Pride Knight has a shield, not unlike the shields we saw from enemies who reflected shots back.
But
And-
like, yeah. And are there more characters in planning? We are resembling 4 emotions till now.
Yeah.
It's always talking about the 8 emotions.
There's gonna be 4 more, but we're not too sure when the specific ones are gonna be implemented. I think for the early access, we're thinking about doing probably 1 more.
Now we see the NPC. Sorry to interrupt you
Yeah,
there.
no problem.
But this is the NPC we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Now you can see the different upgrades you can build.
There's the Gambit generator, which is now, as we see, they bought it, so it's unlocked and can appear during the next run.
That is quite interesting to see.
Yeah, we'll see if it actually does.
There's also, as far as I saw, a Hall of Fame kinda. You can see your older runs and then actually see how much points you scored. Now the question, you said about changing the emotions, changing the difficulty of the different bosses. Is this relating to the points or the score you can make then also, if you make them more difficult? Or is it just for yourself as a player that you can choose a more difficult boss?
It's somewhere in the middle. It's not pointed in the high score, counted in the high score. You get no extra points for choosing a more difficult option, but you do get more of these currencies, which are used to buy upgrades. So you do get that kind of reward, and you can pat yourself on the back for having defeated the boss in his most difficult state, I guess.
What's definitely, as usual, a nice Steam reward, maybe.
I mean, there's also achievements coming at some point, not for the early access version, but somewhere along the line for sure.
For the 100% hunters, then we have definitely there a lot more achievements up the slave that might make the whole thing more difficult than it is normally.
Yeah, exactly. And there's also the freedom we wanted to put in there to give players all the options for making the game as hard as they want it to be or as easy as they want it to be, because not everybody has the same sense about that. And we like to make sure that for every play style, there's a way to play it. It's not going to be like it gets easier no matter what you do. And people who are like on the hardcore side of gaming, they're going to be like, so what is this? Who do you think I am? So we want to always give the options.
Yeah, we're seeing now that we're 2 players, so 2 people can actually loot the chests.
Exactly, and everybody gets their own loot, so there's going to be no fights over loot. Only in that area, as we'll probably see later, because they share their money, and whoever spends it gets something, and the other one does not, which is usually a way players troll other players. Like even internally when we play test it, we do that a lot. But yeah, everybody gets their own loot, and everybody gets different loot as well. So it's not the same decision made by a different player, but it's entirely different options.
There needs to be griefing options. If we don't have griefing options, then it wouldn't be a game, honestly. And we see we don't have friendly fire possibilities here.
Yeah, that was too much of griefing for us. We turned it off once we I think I played with a colleague, and I accidentally one-shot him and did over 80 damage, and then we decided to take that out. Players can still damage themselves, but not directly damage other players. If another player stands next to an exploding barrel and you happen to shoot that barrel, what can you do? It's not your fault, and that can still happen.
Yeah, if the other player needs to walk into the acid barrel,
You gotta pay
shoot
attention.
it, yeah,
You gotta pay attention. But
not my fault.
it's also very subtly, it's a way to make the game more difficult, because one way or the other, if you play with more than one player, you're gonna get in the way of each other, and that also makes the game a little harder without ever having been planned to do so, which I found very interesting.
What is harder, single player or playing as 2 or 3 people?
For me, it's easier single player mode because of actually multiple reasons. One of them being that you have to use a controller if you play multiplayer. Well, like one can be on the keyboard, but everybody else has to take a controller and loses the mouse aim, which is something, especially in shooters, that I am very accustomed to, and I'm just worse when I play with a twin stick on a controller. And the other reason being that, as we already see, it's a bit more chaotic. And especially if both players gain a lot of add-ins that are very visually present, it's going to be a little harder to see what's going on, which means more hits are going to be going at you. You're not going to be able to see them maybe, and then you're going to get hit. So
that's now the local multiplayer. Is there then a online multiplayer also in the planning right now?
It's in the planning, but online multiplayer is it's a huge task, and we're looking into having it for the full release. But even then, we're gonna have to see how that whole thing works out. Like, I personally am not on the technical side of things. I'm told it's super hard and super complicated, and I believe them, of course, because why wouldn't it be? Everything, even small things, can be very complicated.
Yes.
And that all depends on the available manpower, if we're going to be able to, at which point in time we're going to be able to do it. It's at a certain point we're going to do it no matter what, but the question is, when are we going to be able to? And we can't say for sure yet, unfortunately.
If you're there with future things a bit, talking about the game is now for Steam, or like the demo is on Steam. Do you plan to go also on more consoles then, especially when we know you can play with the controller there? So the option is definitely also implemented. Is there the plan to go then on other consoles?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't go through the trouble of making possible to play with controllers and not releasing on consoles. That would be waste. We do plan to go for PS5, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox, but it's gonna be the priority is on Steam. First, we're gonna come out for PC, and then we're gonna look into how much work it will be to release on the other platforms. But it's similar to the online mode. We're gonna do it at some point. The only question is when exactly. But we definitely want to do that, yeah.
Yeah. Also, then another future questions kind of is new game modes. Then also, is the game only staying with this kind of mode that you have to run and score high, or is there also other game modes, for example, in the planning, like kind of arena style then, or is it like, okay, you really want to go with this style and develop this further, and the other thing has absolutely no priority right now?
Well, we definitely want some alternative game modes. We're not totally settled on how they're gonna look. Like an arena mode, like an endless sort of survival kind of deal is in the talks. But me personally, I want to have, when we're doing online multiplayer, I want to have a PvP mode, which the basic idea right now is to have players face off, and you're gonna need a certain amount of wins to win the match, and after each match, the loser gets an add-in to choose.
That's quite interesting.
That's like the basic idea, but we think there's a lot of potential in doing a PvP mode, and once we're looking into the whole online multiplayer, that's also something that's on the horizon. But for now, we're very much focused on this mode, and also, the game has a story and a progression that, as of now, is not very strongly implemented. We have all the pieces there, but it's not in this build because we wanted to showcase, that's our Gamescom build, and wouldn't make much sense for this game to showcase like a 10-minute cutscene in the beginning when people want to go in and out and get an impression.
Yeah.
So we put that on the back seat, but that's something that's also, in my opinion, going to enhance this mode of playing, because it doesn't only have to be about the high score, but also about progressing and having this story where you're able to say, we're one step further to maybe saving this civilization of robots that are killing each other and at each other's throats at the moment, but it doesn't have to end there.
Sounds definitely promising, and I'm extremely excited how the game will look in the future. I will definitely play it, and I hope you
so.
at home watching the stream are also excited to play the game now. If you are, there is the demo online available on Steam for download. You can download it, have a look in the game, how it is right now, and be excited as I am right now, and put it on your wishlist. Then as soon as the game comes out or there are new updates, you will know what is going on.
Yeah, definitely, and it'll pay off in that sort that we plan on doing a beta test at some point, and then we're gonna need players who want to test the game, even for free, with the compensation that we get feedback and some bugs we didn't find get found. So that's also something that's going to be discussed on our Steam page and on the Discord. So if you're interested in that, I highly recommend dipping in there and seeing what's going on there. Yeah.
I definitely also see a high chance for the game for something like speedrunning, because you have definitely all the tools there to make it possible. Sure, certain random effects, especially with the weapons and the upgrades you can get, armor or add-ins, but I think there's definitely a high possibility that people will love the game, especially also in this direction.
Yeah, we've made some internal speedrun competition who can get there the fastest, and there's some potential there, and we definitely, if people come to us and are interested in speedrunning, but they have certain things they need, where I especially, I'm very open to people wanting to speedrun games, because I think that's always there. I know of no speedrun community which isn't
a really
good community.
Yeah. What we saw right now is the room we got from the upgrades.
Yeah, that's the Gambit generator, and they went for the 3 out of 5 difficulty one, which is these two. They attack with meteors from above as well. So, and they have, as we see, they take a lot of hits. They have increased health pools and deal a lot of damage. Yeah.
The thing is, in the game you have often this high risk, high reward system. That means if you go for something like that, you get a really good reward out of it, what helps you later on. But sure, you first need to beat them, what these two are doing perfectly right now. Short comment on the weapons they're having now. We saw earlier the big crossbow with a lot of single target damage. Now we have 2 different classes. What weapons they have naturally.
The Angle class uses this submachine gun, which has a high fire rate, but also sprays a lot, is inaccurate, and doesn't do as much damage per bullet. In comparison to the crossbow, it deals almost no damage. But that's especially useful for certain types of add-ins that have a probability of appearing, because the more you fire, the higher the chances that that's going to trigger. And the Pride class uses the twin shot pistol, which fires 2 shots at once, which can also be very strong with the right add-ins. And this was the first class that was put into the game, so it's the most basic out of all available classes. But it does start with the most shield and least health. So if they once again plan to go that direction, they're gonna be off to a great start with 20 shield.
Yeah, definitely. And
it's 43 shield already, so
yeah, they're quite strong already. They're doing here a pretty well run again. Also here again, these players have played the game before. They make it look easy right now, but it is not at all easy when you play it for the first time or even the second time. It has a lot of skill cap in, and as you mentioned earlier already, there is actually, this is a version from some months ago, so your version is even more deadly for the player.
It gets a little harder, yeah. Also, like visually, especially this area, I worked a lot on in the last couple of weeks, and a lot has happened. Like it looks a lot more polished and has more detailed textures than we see now. So that's also something. Not only do we plan on polishing and expanding the gameplay, we also want to make it visually appealing, which I think the style already is cool. I mean, it's an indie game. You can expect like the realistic graphics there, but
I honestly think this is also what games kind of like that kind of makes out. It's the style, the art style. That doesn't need to be high graphic. We saw a lot of really big companies that are failing with high graphic tile.
Yeah, because the only thing.
Because if you only have the graphics but nothing else, no heart in it, no gameplay in it, no story really that you like. And personally, I love such art style. It's at certain parts it's basic, yes, but it's still, it has a lot of love in the details, and this is something I prefer a lot having in the game.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, that's why there's still like pixel games that are just leagues better than some AAA production, because there's heart and soul in it, and the gameplay is tight. And I think that pretty much defines the indie genre, that you can say, even without that, we can make an amazing game. And yeah, we don't need a giant team and like 10 million euros or dollars to do so.
Yeah, we see that player 2 is right now quite low on health. Got some shield back, but therefore was staying back, that he's not getting hit. But we see all the effects flying here randomly over the map. They're not randomly, but quite
a little bit of randomness is in there, of course.
But if the laser hits you, it burns down your shield and your health as far.
You need to have a dash ready if the laser starts coming at you.
This definitely looks quite kind of messy, but difficult messy in this case. Like, as a player, you need to really play on the edge. Ooh, there we saw a 1 shield, 1 HP moment for player 2, actually.
That was close.
I think kind of reminded me of the 2 HP from earlier, from the previous run.
But as I said, like, the game naturally balances itself in multiplayer, because it does at certain point get harder to see all the things that are going on.
Yeah, there are 2, for example, explosions coming now compared to before, and we see that the boss is only at half. So that is what we kind of meant earlier. This is the boss I at least struggle the most. I think you also said you struggle the most with. And now they have also weapon-wise, they have good multi-clear weapons, or better multi-clear weapons, but the single target damage is quite lower compared to the crossbow, what makes such a boss definitely not easier.
Yep. But they're hanging in there.
At least one person.
Well, one person is.
Because if we did there, player 2 died, but he's laying there now. I'm happy to see that, actually. What are the possibilities if the HP drop on 0?
players aren't like dead forever. They can be revived, but that requires the other player to donate some of his health, 20 points to be exactly, which can also be done mid-fight, but it takes
some time.
Too much time at this point. That's also something that needs to be a little toned down, but it does take a long time. It is possible, but he can also just do it later if he doesn't see any benefit in doing it right now. The thing about dead players is they don't gain experience. They don't loot. So if he manages to kill the boss, opens the loot chest before or without reviving his teammate, then his teammate's not gonna get the item.
There we are again, is creeping the teammates.
Yeah.
You died on me on the boss fight, creep me, I creep you with the rewards.
Yeah, he has the active choice to do that if he wants to.
Yeah, but I think he's also, there it was close. And now we see actually the after that screen. There's also the player scores, so what?
Yeah, there's the scores you can see. There's also a bug you can see, which is still in this version. We actually worked a lot on the result screen in the current version. You can see you have a little bit of this fun comparison between two players, because you can see how much damage each one dealt, how much damage you've taken, and then you get a little title according to what you've achieved or not achieved. And so we want to have that for like the typical player who maybe dies a lot, but also deals a lot of damage and kills many opponents, who's going to be like, oh, see, I killed so many things. And yeah, that's why we put that there. And also the high scores, of course.
Yeah. We saw now the animation after they get out of getting beaten, and I think it's a beautiful piece that is rounding up the whole thing, that you get pulled out of all the scraps back to your starting point, and then from there start again the new run as a new kind of robot, or the old robot just being back. And
yeah, that's something that's a little bit woven into the story, where it's like you died and they're just gonna build a new machine. They're just gonna send out the next guy and let's see how far he comes. Because the one thing this main character, this Enigma, like the robot you meet first on the base, is capable of doing is building mechs that are able to infiltrate the areas and hopefully get there in the end.
So what is your most annoying opponent besides boss that you encounter in the games from your side?
There's a couple, but all of them are in this area, because this is the area where many of the normal enemies can use shields, which, as we've seen before, can be, even if you're super strong, those shields, if you don't pay attention, they can still get you and destroy your run. But yeah, and I think both of those things come together in this small enemy that only appears in the castle later. But they basically they walk around a little, and then they set down a shield, and through the shield are gonna start firing at you.
Yeah,
and
I know them. They're in the castle.
You can't really hit them without like dashing through them and quickly turning around to shoot them in the back where they're not protected. Or you can walk away far enough for them to reposition. And while they do that, they're also vulnerable. But if the room is huge and it's full of enemies, these are going to be so annoying.
Yeah, they stall out the fight quite a lot, and if other opponents are there, you need to fight against. It's quite annoying. Weapon-wise, we saw earlier the crossbow, now the two other weapons. If you have to choose a weapon that is your absolutely favorite in the game, what would it be?
We haven't seen it in this run, but it's also in the game, and I think also in the demo. But there's a minigun, and the minigun, it has a wind-up before it starts shooting, and you move very slow when using it. But the bullet output is insane. If you have the right build, especially with the Pride class, you could put up a shield and then start blasting, and with the right add-ins, the screen is gonna be
it's
full of bullets, and each does a little damage, but it's so many that your enemies are gonna be melting away.
yeah.
And these are the types of builds I like the most.
Yeah, it's kind of like a bit like the machine gunny.
Yeah.
How you would imagine. It has some for the visitors. It has some variants where the bullets also go. I don't think it's shooting always in a line, as far as I remember.
There's also you're talking about the laser rifle, or
no, also the minigun I saw.
no, the minigun always has a spray.
Yeah, it also has spray.
Yeah. Because otherwise, it would be. If you get close to enemies and you hit them with all the bullets, they're gonna take a lot of hits. But now that you didn't mention it, but I did, the laser gun is also one of my favorite because it has laser bullets, like these long laser shots, kind of the ones in Star Wars, like the ones in Star Wars, and it has a rather high spray. But the more you shoot, the more accurate it gets. Like if you hold down the fire, you're eventually gonna have this stream of bullets, like with a pinpoint accuracy. And again, with the right combinations and add-ins, that's insane.
What is your personal, like, if you think about it, weapon-wise, this is your personal favorite, but what is the tip you would give to new players? If a player is playing the demo, download it because he got interested in looking at it, and what is the tip you could give them in that?
Well, the advice I would give wouldn't be really to get you towards beating the game, but my advice would be to try all the classes if you've found an add-in, or you get an option of 3 and there's like 2 you've tried already. Maybe try the other one, because the combinations and different builds, that's where I think the game truly shines. And I really think that, like, just playing with that, experimenting with that, and sometimes, I mean, I do that as well. If there's some add-ins I basically always choose, but if you're starting the game, even from a strategic standpoint, I think it's a very good idea to first check out what's there, and just go a little wild with experimentation.
We're hitting the last few minutes of our stream here on Steam. If you're interested to see the game also after the stream more, you can see here on our Twitch there we have from time to time some streams about this game, and if you're really interested, tune in and see then also how maybe the game develops in the near future, because we kind of also will keep you updated there always with new streams, more informations. We're seeing here now the boss fight again of the 2 players. Fighting here, my opinion, a bit easier boss than the one they died to.
Yeah, that's the first boss in the parade area, and they yelled at her, and now she's also kind of mad and using fire bullets, which she normally does not do.
Yeah, and we see it gives also quite some damage to the players. So player 2, for example, always at the edge with the shield, and the health is already only half of it again. So it's quite important what you choose, actually.
Yes, and it's also like player preference. Not everybody's going to be wanting to play the same class or be as good with certain classes as others are going to be. So that's also part of the experimentation, just in finding what's right for you.
Yeah,
but still having all the options.
For me, it was always the kind of pride,
the shield
guy. That I looked at the stats and was like, yeah, shield is regenerating. I gonna go with the shield in this. As we saw earlier already, there's with the crossbow you have extremely well opportunities if you survive the early game, I would say. So there are kind of different which class might be good for the early game. Some are better than if we reach a later point of the game. So, but yeah, in general, what are your ambitions with the game for the future besides the multiplayer and the new maps? Do you have like a specific ambition you want to reach with the game later on?
Well, not in the sense that there's gonna be something entirely new that just changes the whole game, but I want there to be a lot more content. I want, which something we're planning is a true final boss. Like at the end of your run, there's gonna be a true final boss, and that boss fight is gonna be insane. Like it's gonna have multiple phases, and the more you progress the game, we plan on have that affecting this boss fight as well, and like the whole emotion sub-theme, and being able to truly finish the game. That's like, yeah, that's like a thing that I really want to see and experience, and also there being a lot more like options. Like there already are very many, but as I said, we are now at around 50 add-ins, like weapon modifications, which can all be combined and put on different weapons and used with different classes, and just having huge numbers there and being able to provide a game that doesn't cost as much, but still, if you're into it, is gonna give you hundreds of hours of unique and different playtime.
Do you have, cause we're getting to the end of our stream slowly, do you have any words you want to tell the audience that watched us now through the stream, guided them through the game in general? Do you have some words you have for them?
Yeah, all I can really say is please try it for yourselves. I mean, we've explained some things, but especially in the later versions, there's going to be things that I can't be there for everybody and explain them the game. So there's things to find out and more things to discover still. And yeah, if you like what we showed you here, there's a free demo, and we're always interested in people like telling us what they think about the game, what they don't like, which we had some people saying, oh, couldn't that be an idea for a weapon or an add-in? And I really like that sort of exchange. I mean, we can't do everything, of course, but if there's a possibility, I'm always for it. And yeah, I really like engaging with a community of players who enjoy playing the game. So if you do that, we're always very grateful for people being interested, trying out the game and giving their feedback and hopefully enjoying it. Yeah.
Yes. Then we definitely enjoy the last few minutes of our stream right now and seeing the two players run through the levels and see if they are what they're doing for the last few minutes. In general, I definitely want to thank all the people visiting the stream.
Thanks for coming by, for watching.
It was a pleasure having you also here with me, commenting the game, explaining a lot to the viewers, also to me. It was a lot of fun, and like you said already earlier, get the game, get the demo for yourself, and see how much fun you can actually have also with the game.
I would agree, yeah. That's really something everybody has to like a little bit find out for themselves.
Yes. So in this sense, I would really say we are at the end of our stream here. We're slowly reaching the end. And yeah, like I said before, not only follow on our social media, sure, for us, it's definitely for the guys from M.O.O.D.S. It's absolutely amazing game. Follow them, put the game on the wish list. download the demo.
They always helped a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and give feedback also from the demo. They're always excited to hear from you. And with that, I would say bye from my side.
Yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, just have an eye on our game and have a good night.
Good night.